Okay, so they're given us this equation here, and it looks a lot like the ellipse equations we've been dealing with, but it says it's a hyperbola. So let me go to the notes with you. So, and let me grab the notes. There it is. Bring that over for us. Okay, so here we are graphing a hyperbola. So we're graphing a hyperbola centered at the origin. So this is all about graphing. How do you graph a hyperbola? Now, what is a hyperbola? Well, it's these two branches, either two branches going sideways or two branches going up and down. How do you know which one? Well, if x squared is positive, meaning in the front, then the branches go right, left. That makes sense. X is right, left. That's this one. Whereas if y squared is positive in the front, then the branches go up, down, because the y-axis goes up and down. See how the branches go up and down on this one? Because y squared's in the front, positive. So it's very similar to ellipse, except it's got two branches that go either right, left, or up, down. And then we have this kind of funny dotted box thing in the middle that we do. And then these dotted lines that go through the diagonals. So what's up with all that? All right, so basically so now that you've seen that general thing, let me kind of guide you. So here's what we do. First off, we start making our box just like we would for an ellipse, right? If this was plus in the middle, this would be an ellipse equation, right? That's the only difference, very slight, very small. The only difference between an ellipse equation and hyperbola equation is whether you have a plus in the middle, it's ellipse. You have a minus in the middle, it's hyperbola. They're very close. So we have a minus in the middle. So what are we going to do? Well, what would we do if it was ellipse? We'd start with this and we'd go square root of 25 is 5. And that means from the center up to 5, down to -5. And then the square root of 36 is 6. That means from the center, right 6, left 6. Okay, we good so far? This is exactly like what we learned to do for an ellipse. You just take the square root of the number under y, and whatever's under y is always up, down, because it's y. It's up and down, right? Y is up and down. And whatever's underneath x is right and left, because x is right and left. So you go right and left 6, because that's underneath x. Square root of 36 is 6. And up and down 5, because square root of 25 is 5. Okay, now normally at this point, we would take those, if it was an ellipse, and this was plus in the middle and it was ellipse, I would draw an, whoops, I would do better than that, of course. I would draw an oval like that, wouldn't I? Maybe a nicer oval, but I would draw an oval. If it was plus in the middle, it'd be an ellipse, and I would draw an oval. But it's minus in the middle. It's not an ellipse. So what do I do? What you do instead of making the oval is you make a dotted box. Let me use that color. So you make the box go out to these points. Like that. Does that make sense? So this is what we do differently for a hyperbola equation that we don't do for an ellipse. Again, if it was an ellipse, it started the same. Square root of the number under y is up and down 5. Square root of the number under the x is right and left 6. And then normally we would make an oval connecting those dots and we'd be done with our ellipse. But if it's minus in the middle instead of plus, if it's minus, it's hyperbola, and you make a dotted, now it's a dotted, why is it a dotted box? Whenever you put something dotted on a graph, you're saying it's not really part of the graph, it's just there to guide the graph. It's just behind the scenes guiding the graph, directing the graph. So, but it's not actually physically part of the graph. Okay, so we make a dotted box. And then what? And then we fill in the diagonal. So you start from the middle and you shoot out the corner, right? See, I shot right through the corner and keep on going. Same thing here, shoot through the corner from the center straight out the corner, from the center, straight out all four corners. See that? Those are dotted also. Those lines are asymptote lines. We've dealt with asymptote lines before. These lines will do what? They will guide the graph. So I made the box, and then I filled in the diagonals. And you see the dimensions of the box help guide the asymptote lines. And the asymptote lines will guide the hyperbola branches in just a second. Okay, so now it's time to put in the actual graph, the branches. Where do they go? Well, whatever's in the front, whatever's positive, y squared is positive. It's in the front. So that means the branches, the branches on this one are going up and down. If we had x squared positive in the front, they'd go right, left. That's what I'm showing you here on the notes, right? If you have x squared positive in the front, branches go right, left. If you have y squared positive in the front, branches go up, down. Say up, down for y squared in the front, x squared in the front, right, left. Okay, so we have x squared, or no, sorry, we have y squared in the front, branches can go up, down. And where do they go? Well, let's go back to the picture from the notes. Here's the notes again. See how it hits the middle edge of the box. If it's right, left, same thing if it's up, down. Middle of the top, middle of the bottom. See how the branches touch, just barely touch the middle of the box. Top and bottom if the branches go up and down, right and left if the branches go right and left. But they always hit right on the middle of the box, don't they? Let's go back. So I'm going to make that happen. So right on the middle of the box, and then the branch is guided by the asymptote line. See that in the picture here? See how, as this branch goes off, the asymptote line guides it. Same thing here. This asymptote line guides this branch. So there we go. The asymptote line guides the branch. There's the one going up, and then the same thing starts in the middle of the box, goes this way, goes this way. And so there's our graph. There it is. It's those two branches. Those two branches are the hyperbola graph. And it's all because we had a minus in the middle instead of plus. If it was plus, it would have been an oval, an ellipse. But if it's minus in the middle, it's these two branches. And it's y squared in the positive in the front, so it's branches up and down. If they were switched and it was x squared positive in the front, the branch would have been right and left. Same box, though. And how do we make the box? The square root of the number under y is up, down, because y is up, and down 5. And the square root of the number under x is 6. That's right, left, because x is right, left. And then make the box, and then fill in the two diagonals, and they will guide the branches of the graph. They tell you how wide or narrow the branches are for the graph. Now, when you use the program to graph, it'll have you click on the center and then click on the upper right of your box. Oh, first you have to choose. So there's two tools. You have to choose if you want branches up, down, or if you want branches right, left, that depends on whatever's in the front. Y squared's up, down. And then when you choose the right tool, the way to do the tool is you first click on the center, which is going to be right at the origin, 0, 0. And then you click on one of any corner, upper right, upper left, whatever, lower right, lower left. Click on one of the corners of the box. See, my box is over 6, up 5. So I click on the point over 6, up 5, and that makes the hyperbola graph from there. That's how it works. Let me show it on the actual deal here. Let me go there. The hyperbola. Whoops, I did the wrong thing there. There we go. All right, so you're seeing my screen. So mine's 4, 9. Here, let me get a new one. All right, 36, 4. All right, whatever. So first, so I get it. So mine are up down. I have Y in the front, so mine's up down. So I have the right left tool, the up down tool. I'm going to go with the up down tool. And then what's underneath Y is well, start at the origin, click, and what is underneath Y is 36. So 6, go up 6, and right 2. See how I'm choosing that? Because what's underneath Y is 36, square root of that is 6, and what is underneath X is 4, square root of that is 2. So up 6 over 2, that's the upper right-hand corner of the box. Click, and see it puts everything else in place for you. Puts the asymptote lines, the box, all that, submit it. There it is. It's super happy. It's the right graph. I'll go back here to the iPad. It's a nice little hyperbola graphing tool, I think. And so that's how we graph my hyperbola. There we go.